The OpenRun Pro is the latest in bone conduction tech from Shokz. You know, the company formerly called Aftershokz. But is the latest the greatest? The answer might shock you. Goedendag, we're DHRME, delivering humorous reviews to my ears. Now you're going to experience some of the things the OpenRun Pro can do in this video, but let's start with where we're at with all the new names. Since Aftershokz left the after behind to become Shokz, the branding of the headphone models has also changed. There are now 3 sport models: the cheapest, OpenMove, the OpenRun, which is the older Aeropex upgraded with fast charging, and the new top dog, the OpenRun Pro. I mean, it's got a Pro at the end of the name. What did you expect? Shokz has made a big deal about how the Pro has the newest gen bone conduction tech. So let's break it down. Sound quality and leakage, call quality, and build.
Not to be contrarian or anything, but I actually prefer the sound of the older Aeropex we have here because you get more of the mid and high-end frequencies coming through. The newer OpenRun Pro has more bass, sure, but the warmer sound signature misses some of that sparkle. The place where the older model falls flat is at maximum volume. Once you turn it all the way up, there is a lot of distortion that gets added to the sound. No such problems with the Pro. However, the Pro does vibrate quite a bit at louder volumes, something my sensitive cheekbones definitely felt. Considering this is supposed to be used outdoors, I can understand Shoksz's decision to add more bass on the Pro. Look at it this way. Once you're outside, you're gonna have difficulty hearing any bass at all with bone conduction headphones, so that exaggerated bass sounds less exaggerated while you're biking or running. If you've used bone conduction before, you know that you can't expect sound comparable to in-ears or over-ears. We were shocked to read that some reviews were saying there's no compromise for sound quality. Finally, just no. Bone conduction sounds fine, but it's not comparable to even the cheaper in-ear wireless options out there. Let's just get that straight. Also, let's talk about volume for a second. Having your ears open is both a benefit and a disadvantage. Even walking to the nearest supermarket, which wasn't very busy by the way, I noticed I had to crank up the volume to almost maximum to hear Nilay Patel's voice on the Vergecast, one of our favorite podcasts by the way. Turning up the volume in a noisy environment is just terrible for your hearing long term. So that's another downside versus good old in-ears. Having said that, these two have EQ presets to tune the sound, which are okay, but we found the standard setting to be just fine. Also for podcasts, I had never really needed to switch to the vocal preset. And speaking of vocals, if you prefer reading to listening, did you know that we also have a blog? Check out this link to get your DHRME fix. All of the words, none of the bandwidth. Now let's talk about sound leakage. Bone conduction tends to have more leakage than in-ears, and Shokz says that it has done some work to reduce that leakage. Let's test it versus the older model and you can tell us how much better or worse it does.
Can you feel the leakage? Is it leaking? Look at the leakiness. Oh my god, what kind of a strain. Can you feel the leakage? Is it leaking? Look at the leakiness. Oh my god, what kind of a strain.
Meh, we didn't notice any major difference.
Now let's test those dual noise cancelling mics and see how much better they actually perform for phone calls, shall we?
Aeropex quiet conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Shokz OpenRun Pro quiet conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Noisy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Shokz OpenRun Pro noisy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Shokz, formerly called Aftershokz Aeropex, windy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, Shocks Open Run Pro windy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle. Test, test, test. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. So what do you think? The older model was already pretty good, and in quiet conditions, the two are both very good. But that dual noise cancelling mic is no joke. You can notice this especially in the second repetition of our test phrase when I speak a bit quieter. There's a definite improvement in cancelling out background noise, and that's tangible because these are headphones you use outdoors, so noise and wind are part of the deal when making calls. And yes, also for wind, you notice the same improvement. Better cancelling of the wind noise while still keeping the voice impressively clear. Just like the sound quality, we also noticed much more bass come through in the voice using the new Pro versus the older model. And the controls for calls are unchanged and still fairly good. Most things a fuckman needs for calling. Volume controls, answer, hang up, everything except for the ability to mute a call.
When it comes to build, we've seen some videos stating that the Pros are smaller than the older version. But for us, that's simply not true. That also means that I still can't lie down or sleep in these since they stick out a bit from the back of my head. You big heads out there might have a different experience, of course. But hey, don't sleep in these. They're designed for sports. Go burn some calories. Just because you can't get cozy with them in bed doesn't mean they're uncomfortable. Since bone conduction headphones go over your ear and rest on your cheekbone, they're very comfortable. So these are very often our pick for workouts since you don't have to deal with the problematic fit of in-ear buds or the heat generated by on or over-ear headphones. And these are great for people with impaired hearing since sound is emitted through vibration of the cheekbone instead of through the ear canal. So all that supposed improvement in sound and microphone quality comes at the expense of something in the build, a worse dust and waterproof rating. The Pro has an IP55 versus the older IP67. Now look, we'd happily take the better mics over the slightly worse waterproof rating any day of the week. However, it's also disappointing to see a step back in numbers, especially if that extra bit of dust or waterproofing really matters to you.
And none of these are waterproof. Let's just make that clear. You can't submerge these in water. For that, you'll need their open swim variant. Alright, back to the open runs. The button layout is still the same and you can do volume and track controls reliably, something even high-end in-ear buds cannot always do. The buttons are redesigned though, bigger and much easier to hit since the charging port has been moved to a different place. This sounds minor, we know, but this is one of those things that actually makes a difference in your day-to-day experience. What didn't make any difference was the hard shell case. It sounds good on paper, but these things are so durable, I find myself hardly ever using the case. The charging port still continues to have that proprietary cable though, and this time we didn't get a backup cable in the Shocks box. The battery life has also been bumped up from 8 hours to 10, which is a welcome change, and this time Shocks gives you software with its hardware. The iOS and Android app is basic in terms of functionality. You can use it to change the EQ, change language of the voice prompt from English to one of 3 different Asian languages. You can enable multipoint and upgrade your firmware, which is probably the most useful addition. The multipoint still works quite well, which makes it not only good for fitness but a very capable work from home headset as well. Fast charging also comes default on the newer models. The rest of the design is pretty much unchanged, so glasses, caps, masks and even cycling helmets should work well enough with the headphones on. What do you think?
So, should you buy the Open Run Pro? If you don't already own the Open Run or Aeropex and want to buy the latest and greatest from Shocks, sure, get the Open Run Pro. But for most of us, the older Open Run or Aeropex does just fine. In some cases, like the sound and IP rating, it even outperforms the Pro. The price difference will determine which one you want to get though. Check out the links in the description for the latest prices. You've been running in the open like a pro, and we've been BHRME. Namaste.